And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Schulteis versus Britton. Step forward, please.
20-year-old Lisa Schulteis is suing her former friend, 20-year-old Kelly Britton, for the money she paid to go on a 2-day cruise to the Bahamas.
Tell me your first name.
My name is Lisa Schulteis. Kelly.
You two gals used to be friends, is that right?
Yes. Yes.
And at some point, Kelly, you lived with Lisa and her family?
Yes, over the summer.
How long had you been friends?
We've been friends since 5th grade, about 10 years.
This is your lawsuit. Kelly was getting married.
Yes.
And she prepaid non-refundable tickets, allegedly, for her honeymoon. And that was going to be where?
The cruise was going to the Bahamas, Nassau.
And that was for you and your fiancé?
Yes.
And when the wedding sort of went off, you asked her if she wanted to go.
Yes.
Because these were non-refundable tickets. She said yes. And according to you, you paid her the $600
Yes.
for the ticket. Then you had a fight, and you said, I'm not going, and I want my money back. Now, Ms. Britton says two things. She said, first, you only gave her $200, and second, you decided not to go. That doesn't mean you get your money back, because ultimately, you did go on the trip,
Yes.
but you went with your mother. Other than the fact that you say that you gave her $600, is there any proof that you gave her $600?
I actually bought an 18-foot diameter swim pool. It's $268 and something change. I decided a month later that I did not want the swim pool anymore, that I would take it and use it towards a trip. So I took the swim pool back and I handed the money to Kelly right in front of my mom. I counted $270.
Okay, so that's $270.
Yes.
That's not $600.
I also, well, my mom was there that night.
So far I have $270.
I have proof if you'd like to see the receipts.
Receipts from what?
From the swim pool.
I believe the swim pool. I believe the swim pool. The swim pool is $270. That's not $600.
Yes.
I'm a witness to some of it.
Are you the witness to anything other than the $270?
Yes.
Yes, she is.
Stand up. You're her mother?
Yes, I am.
Go ahead.
I seen Lisa give her first payment. She come home and she handed her $70, the first payment. The second payment that I seen her give her was $60. And then the deal with the pool, it totaled like $400 I seen her.
You weren't there when she gave me the pool money, Donna.
Yes, I was.
But she gave you the pool money.
The last
And
part of
Zach
it.
was there
Well,
when he
just a
gave her the
second.
last of it. Zach seen her
Okay,
give him
sit down.
$95.
Ma'am, Honor. The last payment was $95. Zach, the witness, was over at my house that night. They were fighting. I came home from work. I handed Kelly the money. She told me I finished paying off the trip money, that we were pretty much ready to go. It was a week later we got into a fight, and I kicked her out July 21st.
Okay, $95 when?
That was July 10th, 2006. It was
And
a
when was
Monday.
the trip scheduled for?
August 5th.
Were you there that night, sir?
Yes, I was.
Good. That's all I asked you. Now, you had a fight. And ordinarily, because you had a fight with her less than 2 weeks before this trip,
Yes.
I would say, well, you decided not to go. You don't get the money back. However, Kelly, you took your mother.
Yes.
Why didn't your mother pay you?
My mother ended up paying me the other $200 that Lisa did not pay me.
That's not
Well,
right.
shh. Miss Britton, you're fibbing. Either you're fibbing here or you're fibbing now. Because your answer says she only gave you $200, which means she owed you $400. And you just said to me, my mother gave me the $200 that she didn't give me, which means she gave you $400.
No, ma'am.
Were you just confused?
No, in my answer it says I told Lisa that since it was such short notice, it was only 2 months before the trip was even scheduled, that she could just pay me $400 because I know that, you know, she was just starting out her new career and she did not make a lot of money.
No, that's not correct.
Shh. Don't speak now. Let me tell you something. Your mother should have taken care of it, madam. Your mother doesn't get to go on a free trip.
It wasn't completely free for her.
Shouldn't be free at all. This is the fiancé. I assume you're back together with him?
Yes.
He should have paid for it.
I originally did.
Then if you backed out and say, listen, sweetheart, we're not a team anymore, keep the money, find somebody to go with you. But you don't take him who backed out and your mother who went on the trip and charge her for the trip. That's ridiculous. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $495. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's mad because her boyfriend's a liar and she wants to blame me for it.
She was trying to get my boyfriend a drink.
They was trying to get me to drink moonshine.
She got mad about it and she came home in a rage and blamed me.
They were trying to get him to chew tobacco. and I got mad about it.
She woke me up at 1:30 in the morning screaming at me.
They told him, don't worry, we won't tell Lisa.
You're trying to break me and my boyfriend up. What are you doing? You're supposed to be my friend.
She just lied to me way too much.
They say what goes around comes around. Someday she'll get paid.
Marion Mimi McDonald is suing her daughter's ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Chad Pittman, for damaging her 96 GMC Jimmy during an argument with her daughter.
All rise. That's case number 324 on the calendar in the matter of McDonald versus Pittman. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Miss McDonald, you don't know what happened on this day with the car, is that right?
Not besides what my daughter had told me.
Your daughter was driving, but
Yes.
the car is in your name,
Yes.
so you're the one who wants the defendant to pay for the damages
Yes,
on the
ma'am.
car. But your daughter's a big girl. She makes her own mistakes. She's going to stand up and you're going to sit down.
Do you mind if I stand up in between these two? Because he's caused so much turmoil with our family.
Oh, he's not going to make any problem.
Okay.
You see this guy? Squash him like a bug.
Okay.
You understand that, Mr. Pittman?
Yes, ma'am.
Or you keep an eye on Mr. Pittman, because Miss McDonald will feel more comfortable if you do that.
Sure.
Thank you. Miss McDonald, it is your claim that the defendant backed into your car when he was angry. Mr. Pittman says that you rear-ended him. Mr. Pittman used to be your boyfriend?
Yes.
How long was he your boyfriend?
Almost 3 years.
And how old are you?
17.
And then when the two of you broke up, he started dating, or even before, I don't know how it happened, but now he's with your cousin, who was 15
Yes.
and pregnant. How wonderful. I assume that the pregnancy is a result of your relationship. Is that right, Mr. Pittman?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
20.
And what do you do to support yourself?
I work for one of my friends.
Doing what?
I'm a foreman, construction foreman.
You work every day?
Yes, ma'am.
How much do you earn a week?
800.
And who do you live with?
My parents.
Pay rent?
No, ma'am.
What do you do with your money?
I put it up for my kid, and I'm buying clothes and all that. Insurance, phone bill, just I pay bills with it.
You have another child?
No, ma'am.
So this is the child that you're talking about?
Yes, ma'am.
Do the parents of this 15-year-old who you got pregnant want to put you in jail?
No, ma'am.
Oh.
She allowed me to date her.
Dating her is one thing.
I know.
You know, dating, you go out to eat, you go to a movie, you go ice skating. You know, there are lots of things you can do other than make babies with 15-year-olds, Mr. Pittman. Who are these people?
My mom and my witness.
You didn't give them a good enough lesson in the facts of life. Okay. Tell me when this incident happened with the car, Miss McDonald.
On Friday, August 11th of 2006.
Tell me what you were doing near Mr. Pittman.
It's a parking lot where a bunch of people hang out on Friday and Saturday nights.
And you knew he was there.
I didn't know he was there until I pulled in.
At that point, he was already involved with your cousin.
Yes.
You were angry about that?
Yes, very.
So you pulled in and you saw his car. Was your cousin with him?
Yes, she was.
And what did you do?
I noticed that
No. Look at me. Don't look over there. Look at me.
I noticed that he was there, so I pulled up beside him.
Why?
Just,
Come on.
I was going to talk to him. I pulled up and she was with him. So I confronted him.
Well, what did you say to him?
Because he also was still calling me every night, wanting to be,
Shh, just a second.
wanting to still be with me at the same time as being with her. And I felt like she needed to know that too.
Well, why did you choose that time to tell her?
It was probably the only other time I would see her.
No, you could have called her on the phone. Could have told your mother. Your mother could have called whoever her mother is and said, listen, this is not a good situation. So you went into this parking lot and there was clearly going to be trouble. So when you say you confronted him, what did you say?
I just, asked him why. Why is he doing this to me? Also wanted to be with her. He needed to choose one or the other.
And then what happened?
We got into a small argument. He then pulled off, and I pulled off behind him to leave because I was so upset. And
So
there's
if he
cars.
pulled off to leave, he wanted to get away from the situation. Why did you follow him?
I wanted to leave. I wanted to go home. I was upset.
Oh, why didn't you wait until he left?
I was just so upset. Didn't know what to do.
Go ahead.
And whenever he pulled off, I pulled off behind him. He hit the brakes, so I hit the brakes too. He threw his truck in reverse and backed into me, and then pulled off and left.
He wanted you to leave him alone. Miss McDonald, he wanted you to leave him alone. that a fair statement, Mr. Pittman?
Ma'am?
Is that a fair statement?
Yes, ma'am.
So?
Someone I knew called the police for me, and they came and did a police report and an incident report, which I have a copy of, along with pictures of the damage. And then Monday, whenever my mom got home and we started filling out to file with his insurance company, she then told me that my witness, Dana, who was her coworker, had overheard her talking to some other people at work, and she was actually there in the parking lot Friday with her son.
Perfect. Just stand up, please. Dana, you have a last name?
Morella.
What were you doing in the parking lot?
Me and my son were just up there eating, and we were out in the parking lot looking at all the cars. They have a lot of the nice cars that my son likes to look at, the Nopi cars, and we were just out looking at the cars when I noticed that a big black Bronco just backed up into a green Jimmy. At the time, I did not know that it was...
You drive the big black Bronco?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so he backed into her.
Right.
Okay.
And that's all I seen.
Thank you. Let me start with you, Mr. Pittman. It was wrong for Miss McDonald, not smart of her, to confront you and your girlfriend in the parking lot on August 11th. It was wrong for her to follow you after you tried to leave, because you don't know what she's doing, whether she's going to follow you, whether I mean, you have no idea at this point, because you were leaving and she wasn't finished yet. I want you to understand that I am sympathetic with that. I'm not sympathetic with you, but I'm sympathetic with that. Now, all I want to know from you is, did you back your car into hers?
No, ma'am.
You better have very strong, convincing evidence, Mr. Pittman, and that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be responsible for all the damage on her car. I'm telling you that right now, because I find that even if you did back into her car, she's partially responsible for what happened on that evening. Do you understand that? He was trying to get away from her. She was acting like a nut. She's a kid, and she was acting like a nut, and he was trying to get away from her, and she wouldn't let him. So even if he did say, listen, I'm going to back up into her, I'm not going to hurt her, but then she's going to stop, that was sort of justified under the circumstances. So she is partially responsible. Do you understand that, young lady? So you better be able to convince me that this lady who was in the parking lot with her son is lying to me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
After she got through with me, she started on my fiance. She says, well, you know, I hope you and your baby die at birth. That's her exact words.
And later today,
he squired you around town, bought you lots of things, and this was merely a payback. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
When did you start dating Prince Charming?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Michelle McDonald says her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Chad Pittman, purposely rammed her car with his truck. Chad claims it was Michelle who rear-ended him.
Okay, let me hear.
Your Honor, me and my friends and my fiance was up there at Kmart, and we were minding our own business talking to some of our friends.
Oh, my heart hurts me when you say fiance with 15 years old. Go ahead.
And she come flying up next to us and parked next to us, and then she started on me, and she just started arguing from the start.
Of course she did. I got it. I understand that. It's exactly what she did.
I was shocked. I was embarrassed, you know, because here it is, a bunch of old people were in front of me, and she just come out of nowhere. And after she got through with me, she started on my fiance. And she got in an argument with her, and she's like, Michelle, you know, I love you, you're my cousin and all, but I don't need this right now. I'm 3 months pregnant. So she says, well, you know, I hope you and your baby die at birth. That's her exact words. So she looked at me and she said, I don't need this. So we crank up, we leave, and she starts following us. And I look back to her. My top was off my Bronco at the time. I looked back at her and I said, don't follow us. And I started off again, and I went around a median. As you see over there in the visual, I went around the median, and I went to stop again because she was still following us. I was going to get out, you know, go talk to her, you know, be like, Michelle, look, we don't need this. You know, your cousin, my fiance, she's pregnant. We don't need this. So I went to get out. As soon as I put it in park, she hit me as we was going around the turn. She hit me in the back. So I'll go ahead and get out the truck. She backs up, pulls up next to me, and I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said a few things, and she left. And I looked at my Bronco. There was no damage that I could see. So I got my Bronco, which is private property, you know, so I didn't think nothing could be done anyway. So
Did you see this lady in the parking lot?
Oh, ma'am.
You work together?
We used to work together.
When?
She left at the end of August.
Do you live near each other?
No.
Have you seen each other since work?
Once or twice, maybe.
Just,
Good.
yeah.
Okay. You have a witness?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear your witness. First, let's start with your name.
Robert Drew Norton.
Go ahead.
We had to top off the back of the Bronco.
Were you in the car?
Yes, ma'am.
How many people were in the car? 3 of you?
There was 2 in the back, 2 in the front. And we parked at the meeting, as you see over there. And she pulled up, slammed brakes as I was talking to my friends on the other side of the Bronco. And she started yelling out like all the stuff he said, such as, I hope your baby dies at birth. And she said we don't need it. And then we left. And then she pulled off behind us. We ran around the median, and he went to stop and tell her to quit following, and she hit us. And then she pulled off and said something, and then went flying out the parking lot beside Kmart. And then he looked at his truck, and then we left.
Okay, now I'd like to see the pictures. You work?
I work at Chicken Run.
Okay, good. Ever been in trouble with the law?
No, ma'am.
Uh-huh. Well, if he backed into you, madam, he certainly didn't back into you square on. This indicates that you had damage just to one side of your car. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Now you can stand up next to your daughter.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yes.
After she left, there was no cops called. They were called 2 hours later, and one of my friends up there called me and told me this happened at 8:30, 8:45, because I called my mom when I was on the way home, and I don't live but like 15 minutes from there. So it was 2 hours later before she even called the cops.
Go ahead.
The cops were called immediately. There was a 2-hour delay before they got there because there was a shooting in the area, and they apologized. There was nothing they could do. They got someone there as soon as possible.
Ms. McDonald, I'm not satisfied that Mr. Pittman, although he clearly suffers from a lack of good judgment in other social areas of his life, hit your daughter's car. I'm not satisfied he did that at all. I think that your daughter was furious that night. I think that she got into the parking lot expecting to see him there. She saw him there. She confronted him. She confronted him in the car with her cousin. She was so angry that when he chose to leave because he didn't want to hear her vile talk, she followed him and she hit him. And that she can't do. And I don't believe your friend. Sorry. And believe me, if I felt that Mr. Pittman was responsible, at least even partially responsible for hitting the car, I would have held him partially responsible for fixing the damage to your car. This whole incident was precipitated by your daughter. She has to bear the responsibility for it. And the responsibility involves fixing her car. Your car. That's all. That's what she has to do. She has to get over him. He's no bargain. You'll find somebody else.
That's not a problem, ma'am. She was supposed to take out a warrant from him, but would not do so for
warrant for what?
For aggravated assault is what the police officer told us.
Well, let me tell you something. It's a good thing she didn't, because if I were representing him, I would sue her civilly, because what she told you is a fib.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She had no business being in the parking lot that night. She had no business confronting him, and she had no business following him.
And later today...
You don't look happy, Mr. Smith.
This is my everyday appeal. I always have this MO.
You just have a half-empty appearance.
Yes.
Okie dokie.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. 17-year-old Michelle McDonald says her ex-boyfriend, 20-year-old Chad Pittman, purposely rammed her car with his truck. Chad claims it was Michelle who rear-ended him.
Miss McDonald, he did not hit her car. She hit his car, and she had no business being in the parking lot that night. She had no business confronting him, and she had no business following him. And you have to accept the responsibility for that and not blame other people. You got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. That's all. Case dismissed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All these are excused. You may step out.
We're glad it's over with. We hope that she can go on with her life.
I think this is so wrong because he did back up into her. She was not following him.
I still care about him, and that somebody could just do this, it hurts real bad.
She's just really angry about, you know, it being the cousin.
She was sorry, but she loved him.
She lost out, I guess.
Didn't want to hurt me, wanted the best for me.
I just hope she betters herself, you know, no hard feelings or nothing.
I've realized I'm better off without him.
Hope she moves on with her life and move on mine.
The family's a big fallout. There's no communication at all, no contact at all.
I've got so much more in my life now without him.
Oh, it's done and over. I don't see them. I try not to run into them.
This would be something that's run our family for the life.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Tarabi versus Golden. Step forward.
Amelia Tarabi is suing her neighbor, Jessica Golden, for damage to her car caused by her pit bull. Amelia claims the dog scratched the paint while sunbathing on the roof.
Mr. Robbie, you and the defendant are neighbors, and according to your complaint, the defendant has a couple of dogs, large dogs.
Yes.
You had a new car, and it is your claim that her dogs jumped on both the hood and the roof of your car to get the sun and caused damage and scratching to the car. You want the defendant to pay for that damage. And in addition to that, you say that you were forced to park in the street at some point and got a parking ticket. You want her to pay the parking ticket. Forget the parking ticket. You park in the street, that's your problem. Let's get to the scratched car. What kind of property do you live in? Do you live in a condo unit? Do you have a private house?
We live in a duplex, so it's just the two of our units, and there's a long driveway, and there's a gate which sections off the back where we park our cars. We're both allowed to have 2 cars back there.
Is it a backyard?
There's a yard, and there's also a concrete driveway, as well as garage space.
Did you ever see the defendant's dogs on your car?
Yes.
When?
It was about a week after I noticed the damages. When I got back from out of town and I noticed the damages, I called her and I told her what had happened.
Tell me what you saw.
I saw dog scratches all over the hood of the car.
I understand you say that the car was damaged and scratched. A week later, you saw her dogs on the car. Tell me exactly what you saw.
Okay. I looked out of my kitchen windows. I was walking by it, and I saw her dog on top of my car on the roof, where there would be a sunroof, laying on the roof.
Were her dogs regularly in the backyard without being leashed?
Yes.
Did you ever discuss that with her?
Yes, but it was just something that was put to me that that's what I got this apartment for, and my dogs are going to be in the yard. So there was nothing I could do about keeping her dogs in or out of the yard, and they'd start barking at 7:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night, but they had never caused damage to any of the vehicles back there before.
Did anyone else see her dogs on the top of your car?
Yes, the day that I looked out of my kitchen window, my friend Andrew was over, we were having lunch, and I saw the dog on my car, and I ran down the back stairs to shoo the dog off of my car, and Andrea was still upstairs.
Your last name?
Labe.
Tell me what you saw, Miss Labe, and if you remember the date, I would appreciate it.
I don't remember the exact date. It was mid-October.
Okay.
I was over at Amelia's house. We were in her kitchen. She happened to cross by the window that looked into the backyard. She looked out the window and said something to the effect of, "Oh my gosh," and ran down the back staircase. I went over to the window to see what she had seen, and as I looked out the window, I saw a white and brown pit bull sitting on the top of her car sunbathing, just kind of laying there, sunbathing. And as I continued to look, I saw Amelia go into the backyard and shoo the dog off the car. It proceeded to simply get up, walk down the front of the car, and get off the car.
You have pictures of the damage?
I do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There's also pictures of the layout of the backyard and all of the scratches, and there's a picture of the dog as well.
What happened when you called the defendant?
When I first noticed the scratches and the damages, I called her. I was at the grocery store. I had just gotten out of my car, and I called her, and she apologized and said that she would pay for the damages and that we had to figure out a solution so that this wouldn't happen again. And then about a week later, I got an email from her saying that she had spoken to her mother and other people, and they didn't feel that it was her responsibility to pay for the damages.
Did you have the car fixed?
No, it has not been repaired yet.
Did you get an estimate?
I did get an estimate. I've gotten 3 estimates, and I picked the one that's right in the middle.
I'd like to see all of them. Okay, Miss Golden. Why are your dogs let out in the backyard without any supervision?
Well, it's a fenced-in yard, and that's part of the reason why I moved there originally, because it's so hard to find yard in Los Angeles. So I thought it would be great that I could have a yard for my dogs. But there is a 3-car garage that she could park her car in that she just chooses not to. If she actually thought there was a problem with my dogs, but my dogs have never...
They were on the hood of her car.
I've never seen my dogs.
I don't care whether you haven't seen it. There's no question. I don't care whether you've seen it or not.
That's fine.
They saw it, and she saw it, and I absolutely believe them that your pit bull was taking a sunbath.
This is the first I've ever heard of that, so she never told me that.
That's not
She
true.
said that the car was scratched.
No.
When she came to me...
Miss Golden, she came to you and said her car was scratched. She wanted you to pay for it?
Yeah.
She didn't say to you, I just saw your car?
Absolutely
not.
The dog? We were in my bedroom. She
Yeah.
came to me very casual and said, this was on October 8th, and she said, there's a couple scratches on my car that your dogs did. I go,
That's
no
not
worries.
true.
It was just something that came out of her mouth.
Oh, no.
I
Miss
said,
Golden,
no worries.
that's not true.
It
That's
is
not true.
true.
No, my dear.
It is
That is
true.
absolutely not true.
It is true.
I wasn't even
I mean,
back.
you could say it, and I can say it.
We were sitting.
She was
sitting on my bed.
Listen
I
to me.
remember.
I guarantee you, the last word will be mine. You want to know why? Because this is my playpen. This is my playpen. She does not look like a nut, and her friend does not look like a nut, and there would have been no reason for her to come across to your house that day unless she and her friend, who I absolutely believe, saw your dog. I mean, your dog wasn't doing anything terrible, wasn't chewing off somebody's leg, but was taking a sunbath on her car. And my question to you is, it's nice to want to have a nice backyard, but when you signed your lease, you also knew that the defendant had the right to park her car back there, as you do.
Well, because of this, I've had to get rid of the dog.
Just a second. Does your lease provide that your dogs can be in the backyard unsupervised?
Absolutely.
Let me see it.
Her lease.
I don't have the lease. It doesn't say anything about the dogs, but I'm allowed to have full reign of the yard.
I
We
just want to
share the
see,
yard.
just a second. I just want to see that your lease provides that you're allowed to have dogs that have full reign, unsupervised, in the backyard. Show me that.
I don't have my lease with me.
I have emails from the landlord saying that she was in
Don't
violation
tell
of her
me
lease.
what the emails from the landlord are.
There's cats also that are in the yard, and raccoons and possums, and we have fruit trees with rats, so a lot of animals come into our yard.
That's very possible.
So I have pictures of cats that were in the yard.
You have
that
pictures
were
of
right
cats?
next to it.
Just a second. Do you have pictures of cats that were on the roof of her car?
Absolutely not, but neither does she.
She doesn't need any pictures. She has a witness who I believe.
I have two 60-pound dogs, and if a dog were to go on the roof of her car, I'm pretty sure that it would dent the top of her car.
You have an expert?
My
question is, do you have an expert witness here to testify that if a 60-pound dog sat on the roof of a car, it would dent it?
Not with me today, but the
well,
people
today
that I
is when you were
called, that
supposed
was
to
what
come to
they
court,
said.
Miss Golden. Today is when you bring your
I couldn't get anybody
witnesses.
to come because they all had to work, and nobody
Miss
wants
Golden,
to deal with the courts.
I'm not interested in sad stories. I'm telling you, I'm not interested in cats in the backyard, in raccoons in the backyard, unless you have pictures of them or somebody saw them on the roof of her car. She has a witness who I believe, and I believe her, that the reason she came to you was because she had this happened a week before, and she had no idea how it happened. Until that day, she looked out the window, and unfortunately for you, she saw one of your dogs taking a sunbath on the roof of her car. I absolutely believe her. Otherwise, she would have come to you immediately and said, listen, I have to pin this on somebody. I might as well pin it on your dogs. Right?
Well, I didn't want to pin it on anybody, but I knew it was her dogs because they were in the backyard unsupervised, and there was 3 of them.
I don't care whether it was 3 of them or not. She could have had 30 dogs unsupervised. Unless you saw one on the roof, you weren't going to convince me that her dogs are responsible.
She continued to park her car there for a month after this had already happened.
She what?
If my dogs did it, why would she continue to park her car where my dogs were and continue to let her car be damaged?
What would you prefer that she do? Rent a car
we have a
space someplace
driveway
else?
that fits outside of the gate where my dogs usually are. There's a driveway that fits 4 cars.
Where do you park your car?
I park my car in the gate, but sometimes I park it outside of the gate.
But you park your car behind the gate. Shh, listen to me carefully. You live in Los Angeles?
Yeah.
Is there a reason you park your car behind the gate?
I park my car behind the gate because I have a son, so it's easier to let him in and out.
How old is your son?
2 years old.
So he gets in and out of the car by himself?
No, I'm saying.
So what
it's
difference does it
easier
make whether you
when
park
I pull
the car
in the back,
in the gate?
Like have the groceries and everything. I'm not
Ms.
worried
Golden,
about
you got an
letting
answer
him
for
out.
everything. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,400. That's all. Go get the car painted. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Glad it's over, and I think it's ridiculous I had to get rid of my dog because of this.
I'm just really grateful that this is over and that I can get my car fixed finally.
She put my dog in such a light that my landlord told me I had to get rid of one of my dogs.
That's not true. When the landlord found out that she had 3 dogs downstairs, they got upset because she was in violation of her lease, and they asked her to get rid of her dog.
It was horrible.
The way that she handled it after I found the damages, she became really aggressive and started harassing me, and I just wanted to end the friendship right there and just get my car taken care of.
I think that she overextended herself financially, and she's been out of work for over 1.5 years, and she wanted to make a quick buck.
That's ridiculous. I didn't work for 6 months because I was taking a break, and obviously financially I'm able not to work if I'm taking 6 months off.
We were like sisters.
The relationship's over.
It's non-existent.
I'm tired of being harassed by her.
I'm hoping that she's going to be moving very soon.
I've decided to move, which is another huge financial, upgrade, but I will be glad to pay more money and get away from her.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Ernest versus Kennedy, step forward, please.
Karen Ernest is suing her nephew, 26-year-old Nicholas Kennedy, for a loan to get his Mustang fixed.
Mr. Kennedy, this is your aunt?
Yes.
That's your mother's sister?
Yes.
Parents are dead?
Yes.
Your aunt tells me that you inherited a lot of money.
I inherited a trust fund from my grandmother when she passed away.
You still have the money?
My aunt is in control of my trust fund, yes.
How old are you?
26.
How much money do you get from the trust fund?
There was a total of $50,000.
So how much income do you get from that every year?
I actually do not know, Judge. My aunt is in full control of it. She's the trustee of the trust fund until I'm 35.
Well, there has to be income that's paid out periodically. How much income is paid out to him?
Judge Judy, due to financial issues with Nicholas over the past few years, before the passing of his grandmother, I sat down with her and her attorney, and we came up with an idea that the only way that Nicholas will ever have any money in the future was to set the age limit of 35 for him to get the money.
And the income is reinvested?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is what the case is about. I just have to get a little bit of a picture of the family. You don't mind, Miss Ernest, do you?
No, Judge Judy.
Because one gets the sense from reading these papers that you adored him, and he disappointed you. You made him, according to you, a loan to have his car fixed, and he promised he would pay you back.
Yes.
It was a relatively small loan.
Very small.
So I don't think that it's the money necessarily that's the issue.
You're absolutely right. It's the principle.
Right. And he hasn't paid you back.
Not a dime.
When did you take the money from your aunt to fix the car?
It was in the end of July, beginning of August of 2006.
What was wrong with your car?
The rotors, the heat shield, and the calipers were completely shot, as well as the bearings. It basically sounded like it was a bag of tin cans in the back of my car.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Kennedy?
I'm a blackjack dealer at a casino in central New York.
Do you have a gambling problem?
No.
You have a drug problem?
No.
How long have you been a blackjack dealer?
2 years.
You get paid reasonable money?
Roughly $30,000 a year.
You support anyone other than yourself?
I have my daughter to support, yes.
How old is she?
2 years old.
Does she live with you?
No.
How much do you send her for support?
$310 a month.
Are you current?
Yes.
Do they take it out of your pay?
Yes.
That's why you're current. Good. So how come you were in such dire straits that you needed money from your aunt?
At the time, my wife and I were talking about a separation, and I spoke with my aunt. My aunt has a great deal of dislike for my wife, and she was very happy at the sound of my wife and I separating. At the time, I was...
Does she dislike her because of things that you've told her about your wife?
No.
She just decided that she didn't like her on her own?
Yeah, I believe something happened way back in the beginning in 2002 when we first got together, and things just kind of escalated from there.
Whose fault was it, without going into the story?
I really don't know. I don't even know all the details myself.
Go ahead. So?
I was in some financial trouble, and...
Why?
I was only working part-time at that point, and I needed some assistance with getting the separation going, and when I spoke to my aunt about the separation, she told me she'd help me in any other way she could possibly help me. And I also
Has she done that before?
Yes, she has.
So she's been supportive of you since you were born?
Correct. And I mentioned to her that I was having car problems, but I didn't have the money to fix my car at that time. She then offered to help me get my car fixed. Not once did she tell me that this was a loan or that I'd have to pay her back, just that she would help me get my car fixed so that I could have it back on the road. It was my only vehicle. My wife had her own vehicle at the time as well.
Now, when did she ask you for the money back, Mr. Kennedy?
Since then, I've only had 1 or 2 conversations with her in 6 months, and about a couple of weeks ago, out of the blue, I got a letter.
When for the first time did she ask you for the money back?
She has not asked me for the money back.
Is that right, Miss Ernest?
Incorrect.
Go ahead.
I made numerous telephone calls to Nicholas, his only cell phone that he had, and he never returned any calls whatsoever.
Tell me about the conversation that you had with him in either July or August.
Initially, I was contacted by Nicholas August 1st, 2006. He says that he has problems with his car. It's the only vehicle he has to get to work, and he can't afford to get it fixed. I told him I want nothing to do with trying to help him anymore because...
Why? Tell me why.
Just so many financial issues in the past. Him and his wife have a bankruptcy already on them, 6 months into the marriage. They just can't rub two nickels together. They can't save a dime, and I didn't believe he was going to have any way to pay me back. So it's a lost cause. He begged and pleaded with me that he really needs to have his car fixed. It's the only way he can get to work. During that conversation, he also stated that they were in the process of selling their home and separating. that they were closing the end of August, and he promised, out of the closing of the house, that he would pay me back.
Did you sell your house?
Yes, I did.
When?
It was in the end of August.
How much equity did you have in your house?
We sold just the house, the furniture. We took all the furniture with us, but the house itself sold for $32,000.
That doesn't give me the answer. How much equity did you have in the house? Did you have a mortgage?
No.
So you had $32,000.
Correct.
Where's the money?
We used the money to pay back my wife's car loan, and then the rest of the money we invested into a new apartment for us. Getting new furniture, getting ourselves reset up.
What'd you need new furniture for?
The furniture we had was completely destroyed.
What do you mean it was destroyed? Was there a hurricane?
No, my daughter.
Oh, you mean so it was destroyed by a 2-year-old?
Yeah.
It was destroyed by a 2-year-old. Mr. Kennedy, you sound ridiculous, sir. You sound ridiculous. Does your wife work?
No.
Are you back together again?
No.
When did that change?
Yesterday? We started working on things, and right now it's just kind of a rocky relationship. Right now it's just for my daughter.
So when you bought the new furniture, who moved into this apartment with the new furniture?
We moved in together, and I resided there for 5 days before I moved out.
Something had to happen, Mr. Kennedy. This is becoming more interesting.
I began seeing one of my coworkers.
Oh, so you sold the house. Whose house was it? Yours, or was it the family house?
It was the money from my inheritance from my mother's passing.
Fine, because I gather from your aunt, which I sort of believe that you can't rub 2 nickels together. So you got a little inheritance, you bought a house. Let me follow this. With the money that you got, you bought a house, you sold the house, you took the $32,000. You paid off your wife's car.
Correct.
How much was that?
$14,000.
Then you bought new furniture because the 2-year-old destroyed the furniture.
Correct.
And you bought new furniture, put it in an apartment, brand new apartment. You spent the rest of the money, $20,000, $18,000, and you bought new furniture, moved into an apartment that you lived in for 5 days because you started fooling around with a coworker.
Correct.
How much was the car payment?
$649.61. Judge Judy, may I get the correct calculations of his inheritance totals?
Yeah, your aunt says that you got a lot more money than that, Mr. Kennedy. She said it was more like about $150,000 that you blew.
She's correct. That was the original inheritance from my mother.
How long ago?
That was back in 2004.
Mr. Kennedy, you have to grow up, sir. Your aunt is finished with you. So your wife is driving around in a brand new car. You are no longer together. Is that so far correct? Are you now with the coworker?
Yes.
Ah, perfect.
I just want to cry, Judge Judy.
Listen,
I love you.
Some grow up, some don't grow up. You have to know the difference between things you can change and things that you can't. That doesn't mean that you don't love him. That means that if he needs a kidney, you may have to give it to him, but if he needs any money, let him get another job. That's easy, you know? I mean, you may have to give him an organ one day because you love him.
I did tell him no multiple times in the conversation on the phone.
Yeah, he can't, you know. I mean, he can't keep tapping into other people to clean up the mess after him. He's 26 years old. In the scheme of things, in a man's life anyway, that's still very young, you know. If they're going to grow up at all, it usually takes about 50 years. But and then it's a downhill slide. But he's got a way to go.
His grandma got smart in holding the trust till he's 35 years old.
Because he'll go through 50,000 like water through a goose. Right? Good.
Yes.
Okay, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $649.61. That's all. Thank you.
What is that excuse? You may step out.
Family needs to just still stick together no matter what happens. But then again, he shouldn't keep using me as an ATM.
My relationship with my aunt has just gone so far south, and I'd like to repair it at some point.
His ex was simply, obviously, a gold digger.
We just went through it way too fast. We didn't know how to save it. We didn't know how to use it right.
Money's gone, so is she. Isn't that funny?
I just hope we can work on our relationship and try to remain a family.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Bugby versus Lauderdale. Step forward, please.
22-year-old Brittany Bugby is suing her ex-roommate, 21-year-old Amanda Lauderdale, for rent, damages to the apartment, and for painting her room purple.
Miss Bugby, the defendant, who was a friend of yours, moved into your home when you had a fight with your boyfriend, according to her, and he moved out. You needed someone to help you with the rent.
Yes.
She agreed to pay rent, and it is your claim that she left owing you money for rent, and she or her boyfriend caused some damage to the house. You want her to pay for the damage to the house, and you want her to pay the rent that she owes you.
Yes, that's
Ms.
correct.
Lauderdale says that she paid you rent for each and every month that she was living with you, that she caused no damage to your house, and that I think that there's a room color that you don't like. What's the room color that you painted your room?
Oh, purple.
Purple. And that the landlord doesn't like the purple, you're going to have to repaint that, and you want her to pay for that.
Yes.
How long did you live with her?
From August, and I moved out November 1st.
August what?
I don't remember the exact
August
date.
what?
August 2nd.
And you moved out November 1st?
Yeah, that's not right.
When did she move out?
She moved out November 5th. That's not right. That's when you noticed.
Just a second. How much rent were you supposed to pay?
$650 a month.
Did you pay $650 in August?
Yes.
Is that correct?
No, and I have proof.
I
I have
see the
a
proof.
bank statement here showing the check that Amanda gave to me, which was only $600.
Can I see it?
Yes.
I don't believe I ever gave you a check.
It was from your mother. It's towards the back. It's a check that her mother wrote to me for her rent.
For $600?
For $600. She said she'd give me the $50 later when she got paid, but she never did.
Okay. So that's $50 for August. What about September?
Actually, if you look through there, it'll show every month that I paid my rent for a $1,300 check, but it never shows any deposits of $650.
That's not what I asked you. I said, did she pay?
No,
did you
sorry.
pay September's
Yes.
rent? Show me.
I always paid her in cash. I gave all my cash to Brittany. Never asked for any receipts because at the time she was a very good friend and I didn't think we would end up here.
Where were you working in September?
I was working at Nordstrom.
You work full-time at Nordstrom?
Not anymore.
So what do you do?
Right now I am planning on going to school. Right now I'm not doing anything.
So you don't do anything. When did you stop doing something?
I believe it was early November, probably a week after I moved out of Brittany's house.
Okay. So when she didn't give you any money, according to you, in September, what did you say to her?
She said that she hadn't got paid yet and that she was going through some financial problems. She was
With
my
what?
best friend. She owed money still to some electric companies and some gas companies from living in an apartment previously, and she still owes money to them as far as I still know.
What about October? She give you any money in October?
She tried to give me a check. It was a third-party check from her Nordstrom's, and I deposited it into my account, but they sent it back to me, and I asked Amanda if she would cash it and give the money to me, but she never did.
Why did they return it?
In order to do a third-party check, she signed the check over to me, and I put it into an ATM, but I guess you're supposed to take it into the bank and show your IDs. You can't do it through an ATM.
So why didn't you do that?
Amanda said she was just going to go get it cashed.
I wouldn't have given the check back to her.
Well, I couldn't do anything with it.
Sure you could. You go into the bank with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into the, you just said to me that your bank told you you have to take the money, go into the bank. So instead of giving it back to her, if she owed you for 2 months' rent, I would have gone into the bank. I would have made that little extra trip.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I guess I'm right. Now, she gave you rent for October, but you couldn't cash the check. She took the check and didn't give you any cash.
Correct.
And you didn't say anything to her.
I asked her for the money, and she told me that she would be giving me the money for October and November on the 7th when she got paid. And that was the last I heard from her.
Not true. Not true.
Why did you get into difficulty with your prior bills?
Because at the time I was living with a boyfriend and I was the only one working and I could no longer support both of us. So I moved out.
And when you moved out, the utilities were in your name?
Mm-hmm.
So how much do you owe them?
I never received any of the bills after I moved out. I have no idea how much I owe.
All you have to do is make a phone call.
You're right.
I know. I believe her when she says that you didn't pay her rent. I believe her.
Okay.
Now, why did you decide to leave?
Because she had told me that she was using cocaine and that's why she had a miscarriage. And I just felt like her lifestyle was making me feel very uncomfortable. She was bringing home strange guys in the house all of the time, crying to me about all this stuff, and I couldn't take it anymore. I talked to my mom about it, and my mom said that it'd be a better choice for me to live with my mom instead of Brittany.
That's not true. I don't do drugs whatsoever. I don't bring strange men home, and that's so false. I don't know how else to put that.
Who are you?
I'm Wilson, her boyfriend. Amanda's.
Current boyfriend, not the one that she moved out on.
Current, yes.
Are you the one who broke the door?
No. I was there for the party when the door got broken. It was a Halloween
Oh, well, I
party.
want to hear about that. Stand up. How'd you hurt your foot?
Slipped off some stairs.
Where were you?
At a friend's house.
Party?
No. Just hanging out at his house. Had a couple stairs in the front of his walkway and just slipped down one of them, twisted the ankle real bad.
You can take the crutch with you if you like.
No, I can stand on it.
Great. You get no sympathy from me for doing that. Do you understand?
Don't ask for it.
Okay, tell me about this party when the door got broken.
Halloween party, obviously. I was at work until about 1 o'clock in the morning. Got there about 1 o'clock, and it was kind of out of control. There was a dancing area, and by the door that got broken, someone opened up the door really fast. It had little glass sections in the door. Somebody swung it open and smacked the window broke. Brittany was trashed out of her mind. She had no idea what was going on. And that's what happened.
Now
I
I'll
saw
hear your
everything.
story.
All right, we were having a Halloween party, and a bunch of our friends were there, both of our friends. And shortly after Wilson showed up, one of his friends slammed the door open, and I was upset, and I said, Amanda, Wilson, make sure you get his phone number. And Wilson and Amanda both said, don't worry about it. It's Wilson's friend. We'll take care of it. They never did, and so now I'm suing for the amount.
Not suing them.
Well, Amanda said that she would make sure that it was taken care of.
Well, listen, you can't rely on that. Amanda hadn't paid you rent in 2 months, according to you. How could you rely on her saying, I'll take care of it?
It's true, yeah.
I don't believe you. Let's talk about the purple bedroom. Did you let us paint the bedroom purple?
Yes, I did.
Well, then you deal with it.
It's very dark. It's going to take 2 base coats to cover.
And I would start,
she did
Miss
a horrible
Bugby,
job.
I'd start painting if I were you. Okay, Miss Lauderdale, you owe her $1,300 in rent and another $50 from the first month. And the next time, if you pay somebody rent, you pay them by check and get a receipt. Just like you did the first month that you were living there, paid by check. Do you understand? Very good. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,350. That's all.
Excuse me, step out.
I'm sorry that it had to come to this. She was my best friend. I never thought I would have to sue her.
She really was getting out of control with her partying.
I think that she's full of it.
Just was getting a little bit too much.
She's a little dramatic for me.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Chatterley versus Leva. Step forward, please.
Marie Chatterley is suing 23-year-old Desiree Leva for failure to pay for a purebred pug. Desiree claims Marie has been harassing her.
Miss Chatterley, according to your complaint, you were selling your pug puppy and you advertised for the puppy. The defendant answered the ad, came to your house, spoke to your husband. You the husband?
Yes.
Stand up, please. The defendant came to the house. You were there, sir, on what date?
July the 9th.
And did she take the puppy?
Yes, she did.
What was the asking price for the puppy?
It was $500, but we agreed on $450 to be delivered the following date.
Why did you let her take the puppy without any money?
Well, when she came, she indicated she was a single mother with 2 small children, been through some turmoil, and I felt sorry for her. So I was trying to be accommodating and helpful. That's why I agreed on $450 to be paid the following Friday, which she agreed to do.
Okay. And the following Friday came and she did not pay the money.
That is correct.
Why?
The agreement that he just stated, that's not how it was. He had told me that I could make monthly payments of $50 to $60. And I had called him and told him I couldn't make it because I had a doctor's appointment I had to go to. And he said that it would be fine to call him later in the week.
Listen. I read your answer. And your answer says, well, I didn't make an arrangement with her. I made an arrangement with the husband. I took the dog because I wanted to see if the dog fit in with the rest of my family. And then I ran into some financial difficulties and I couldn't pay for the dog right away. And then she started calling and harassing me, and she called me 42 times to either return the dog or pay the money. And because of her actions, I'm not paying for the dog and I'm not returning the dog. Wrong!
I didn't say I wouldn't pay for the dog. I don't think I owe her for the dog.
Listen, did you pay for the dog?
No.
Then the dog goes back to them.
Okay.
Fine. Great.
Fine.
You want the dog back?
No, Your Honor.
No.
Why not?
That breed of dog didn't work with our other dog we already had at home.
What kind of dog do you have?
Yorkshire Terrier, a 3.5-pound Yorkie. And we had our Lola for 2 weeks, and it was too aggressive with our other dog. So that's when we decided.
Well, they're not aggressive. They're adorable. I
They
love
are.
pugs.
They are adorable.
I love pugs. They're spirited. They're like clowns.
They were playfully. She was playfully too aggressive with our other dog, and she ripped her ear off, and she was just.
By accident. I mean, she wasn't
I'm
hurt.
sure. I'm sure.
Yes.
Playfully, yes, Your Honor.
How old is she now?
She was born February 22nd, ma'am.
How does she fit in with the rest of your family?
Everybody loves her. My kids play with her. I mean, I've never seen an aggressive bone in her body.
Well, just a second. How much money have you given her for the dog?
Nothing, Your Honor.
Well, that's outrageous, madam.
Yes, but I made agreements with Steve
I don't care
Chatterley.
what agreements you made. You have paid nothing for this dog. And if they didn't sue you, you would have continued to pay nothing.
No,
You're
ma'am.
a scam artist.
No, ma'am. No.
Yeah,
He
you
agreed
are.
to me. No, ma'am. He agreed that I told him I could not pay for the dog and I would bring it back. He told me he could not take the dog back at the time and that if I bred her to bring him a puppy or the money off of a puppy.
Did you say that to her?
No, I did not agree to that. She offered that, but as
She offered to breed the dog and give you a puppy instead.
Yes.
And the money, too.
No, Your
well,
Honor.
well, and the money, but later it was just the
But later on, it was just the breeding. So
Yes.
she was trying to get away without giving you any money.
Yes.
It's exactly what she was trying to do. I never heard of such a thing. You go for a dog, somebody who's... Where do you live, sir?
in Spanish Fork, Utah.
God, must be really kind, gentle people in this country that I don't know about, right? I never knew anybody that let you take a dog. I'd say take it home. See how it fits in with the rest of your family. If it's okay, then you pay me. If not, you can bring it back. Oh, I took it home, and it really likes my family, but I can't pay you. Well, that's okay, because, you know, you're a single mom, you have young children. I don't know people like that. Maybe it's growing up in a hardcore city that makes you like that. You have to pay for the dog. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $450. If you wanted the dog back, I would have given you the dog back. But since you don't, and it appears to
Your
be
Honor.
just fine.
Your Honor.
What?
There were some expenses that we have to look for an address for her on the internet.
Yep.
So she could be served.
So
for $62, and the money that the constable had to serve her home twice because the first time she told the constable she didn't live there.
I only talked to them once.
That's $100 on top of.
I think you're absolutely right. I think she should cover those expenses. Modified judgment, $550. That's
you, Your
all.
Honor.
Did the wrong thing.
No, I felt like I owed him a puppy, and I was definitely going to bring them a puppy.
I felt that, as implied there was a scam developing here.
But I feel if he had discussed the matter with his wife, we wouldn't be here today.
We appreciate Judge Judy's compassion and sensitivity on our behalf in settling this matter.
Levi Shaw is suing his parents, Davery and Nathan Celestine, for the repair costs of an 18-wheeler truck.
Court come to order. All rise.
Have a seat, please.
Hello, Judge.
How are you?
Case number 2032, Shaw versus Celestine.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Shaw, these are your parents, is that right?
Yes, they are.
How old are you?
I'm 26.
Just the very broad framework of this case. You're suing your parents for money that you put into a truck that belongs to them.
Correct.
And they are counterclaiming for money that they say you owe them for a balance of a dog they purchased for you. The truck that you fixed belonged to your parents.
Yes, the agreement was...
No, the truck that you fixed belonged to your parents. And what I gather is that you would come into some money. Is not an answer.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And when did you come into that money?
I never came into any money from them after I fixed
Not
the
from
truck.
them. I didn't say from them that you came into some money. Is not an answer.
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am. I came into some
So I
in
want
October.
you to... In October, you were not employed.
I was employed.
By whom?
Trucking.
Is that their company?
No, I was working with them and their brother.
So you were working with the family?
Yes.
Okay. That was in October.
Yes,
October
ma'am.
of 2021. It's not an
I
answer.
mean, yes,
is
ma'am.
an
I'm
answer.
sorry.
And how much did you come into?
About $10,000 for the month of September and October.
And then your father said to you, I assume, you should take some of that money and buy a 16-wheeler truck so that you...
No, ma'am.
Well, how did that happen, sir, that you got possession of your parents' truck?
So it...
Did you try to buy a truck on your own?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Okay,
And
in
that
what
deal
month?
failed.
Just a second. In what month did you try to buy a truck for yourself?
January.
January of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And tried to buy a truck so that you could have your own truck for long hauling and business.
Yes, ma'am.
And you went to a dealer and you found the truck that you liked, but you didn't qualify for financing.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how much is a new truck?
That truck, it wasn't new. It was a 2015, and they priced it at $60,000.
60.
Yes, ma'am.
And you told your parents about that?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
there was a discussion that they had an older truck that wasn't running.
It needed minor work.
It needed...
was told to me.
Okay, so they said to you it needs minor work. Was it running?
It was running, but the diamond seal was cracked, so eventually the truck was just going to break down completely.
Okay, so you took that truck with the understanding that you were going to repair the truck, and then what?
To make money. But
So you would repair the truck and then use it?
Yes, ma'am.
And you would keep most of the profits from using that truck? I mean, I'm trying to understand what the agreement was.
My dad, Nathan, told me that the truck was only going to be worth $4,000 to fix, which was a diamond seal. It needs some bushings. It needs something for the exhaust pipe. And I was like, okay. But when the dude kept calling me for the truck, and he was like, okay, this needs to be done.
But you took the truck into a mechanic?
Yes, ma'am.
And did they give you an estimate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Before or after they did the work?
They gave me one before, but I don't have that estimate, but I have the one for after.
You mean after they completed the work, they sent you a bill?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's not an estimate. An estimate, sir, is when you go in and say, here is a truck. I want you to give me an estimate of what it is to have it fixed. And they give you an estimate, and then you determine whether or not you want them to do any or all of that work, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I would never bring a truck into any mechanic or to any dealership mechanic and say, fix it.
When they was calling me, telling me additional problems that was wrong, I would call them, which I have my phone records that show that I was also calling them once the dealership called me to fix the truck.
Well,
because some
just a
stuff
second.
on the truck wasn't able, like it needed a new gear, it needed new transmission was messed up on the truck,
Just
which
a second. All I want is what you're telling me, that your father told you to go ahead and fix those things each time you got a call?
Yes.
Okay, so you would call him in, and your father would not say to you, well, how much is that to fix?
Well, yeah, he was, but I had already had a settled amount that I told him that I was willing to spend, which was $10,000.
Well, did you spend $10,000?
The truck was actually over $10,000.
I understand to fix it, but you actually spent
$10,000.
You actually spent the $10,000.
$10,900 to be exact.
To fix the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think the truck was $13,000 to fix.
Yes, ma'am.
So you paid the additional $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Now the truck is running.
Yes, ma'am, it's running. It was running before, Your Honor.
But it's running now better because
ma'am.
there are.
Yes, ma'am.
Because
not using it.
Just a second. I can only hear from one of you. He said the truck is in use. You said no.
It's not used. Or is the truck?
No, Your Honor, I misunderstood what you said. I thought you was talking about the repair. You saying is the truck operable now? Yes, it's operable, but it's not on the road.
It's not on the road? Who
Yes,
cares
ma'am.
if it's not on the road?
Oh, yes.
The idea
Ma'am.
was he was supposed to fix the truck and supposed to be able to use the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he able to use the truck?
Yes, he's able to use the truck.
Okay, great. When was the last time he tried to use the truck?
He never tried to use the truck after it was fixed. He said that he no longer wanted to be a part of the deal to give him his money back.
Okay.
I have something. Now, when the truck originally got fixed in February, my dad came into town multiple times. It was one more piece that needed to be fixed, which was the ABS module, which if you get pulled over, they're going to stop you and shut you down completely.
I don't know.
And I told him, hey, we need to get that fixed. He came into town 3 times, and I asked him, hey, are you going to take the truck to the shop? Hey, are you going to take the truck to the shop? He said no. And he's like, well, it don't have any insurance. And it was just a whole bunch of excuses why he couldn't take the truck to the shop.
Whether he can or he can't, he says, and your mother says you're able to use the truck.
But I don't have a CDL, so I'm not able to drive it.
Well, you didn't have that when you took it in anyway, to be fixed.
But I didn't take the truck over there. He drove the truck to the mechanic shop.
Whatever. I don't care who drove it there, but your agreement with him was you tried to buy a new truck. It was much too expensive. Your agreement with your parents was that you would take an older truck of theirs that needed a lot of work, and you took it into a mechanic, and the mechanic was going to fix the truck, make it operable, so that you would have an opportunity to use it and make money.
Yes, ma'am.
And so I'm asking you, now the truck is fixed to the tune of $13,000. When was the last time that you asked to use the truck that your parents said you can't?
Well, I asked him, can I have his dad take the truck to get the additional piece put on, and he told me no, just to wait till he come into town.
Okay. After the agreement that your son was going to pay the money, fix the truck, was your agreement with him that he could use it at will?
I gave him a specific time.
I'd like to hear what the specific times
were. The specific time was...
Let's make it up as we go.
No, ma'am. I'm thinking straight to you. I'm going to tell you just like it actually is.
Levi Shaw claims his parents, Davery and Nathan Celestine, owe for the repairs of an 18-wheeler truck. Levi's parents are countersuing for the balance of an English bulldog.
Was the additional piece put on the truck that he's talking about?
No, ma'am, it didn't actually
Why?
need that addition. It was an ABS modulator, which on that particular model was a 1995 FLD Classic. On that particular model, you don't need that to reset the ABS light. All you need is a sensor that goes in the hub of the wheel.
What I'm asking you is, your son said that you needed this one part. This is your business.
Yes, ma'am.
How much is that one part?
This is a part that I never researched, so I can't tell you that. But according to him,
Perhaps I didn't ask you anything. Perhaps you can tell me.
The part was $900.
That was returned back.
It was never returned because they wouldn't let me return it because it's dealing with wires. So when I asked them, can I return it, they said no. And I had a text where I text her and I said, hey, they will not let me return this piece.
Return what piece?
The ABS module. They will not let me return it because it's electrical and they do not accept returns on electric pieces.
So is what you're telling me that you bought this piece for $900?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and that it wasn't necessary. You didn't buy it from him.
No, but I don't know if it was necessary, but what the mechanic told me and what
you can't tell me what the mechanic told you.
Well, I'm just saying the mechanic told
No,
me
you
that it
can't
needed.
tell me what the mechanic told you. Well, all I'm telling you, Mr. Shaw, is you had an agreement with your parents to fix a truck and then to be able to use it. And I want to know whether they have ever denied you the right, because that was the contract that you made. You never made a contract with them that you would take a truck to the mechanic and they would pay for the repairs. You never made that contract with them. You want me to say that that was your contract with them. They say the truck is operable now and that you can use it. When do you want to use it?
Well, if they're willing to let me use it, then I want to use it as soon as possible.
Okay, and you can drive the truck?
No, I was going to hire a driver.
Okay, and the truck now is not on the road, is that correct?
That's correct. That's
yes, ma'am, that's right.
No,
that's right. That's right.
the
yeah,
truck is
that's
not on the road.
No, ma'am, it's
is
not.
what you said,
Yes.
but operable.
Yes, it's not operable.
Okay, and after the agreement that your son was going to pay the money, fix the truck, and then be able to work at it so that he's getting some benefit from what he put into the truck.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an agreement?
I wanted to ask.
I'm not looking at you.
Okay.
Did you have a discussion with him about how much of the time he would be able to utilize the truck, or was your agreement with him that he could use it at will?
I gave him a specific time. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to hear what the specific times
The specific time was...
let's make it up as we go.
No, ma'am. I'm thinking straight to you. I'm going to tell you just like it actually is. I gave him specifically, according to him, about 3 months of when he probably needed it, to get himself together.
No, just a second. You mean he was going to spend $10,000 on fixing the truck and you were going to let him use it for 3 months?
Well,
Put
as
your
long
hand
as
down.
he-
I'm
well,
not talking to
well,
you.
as long as he needed it. I'm going to put it that way. As long as he needed the truck.
So now that's better.
Yes, ma'am.
So that he can use the truck whenever he needs it and he's going to get a driver. I just want to know, because we're going to have to memorialize all this
Yes,
in
ma'am.
an order. What do you want?
We had a driver. My brother was the driver.
I don't care whether your brother was the driver or not. That was not the agreement that your husband said he made with his son.
Yes, ma'am.
He says he made an agreement with him that if he paid to have it fixed, he could use the truck whenever he wanted to. That's what your father says.
No, that is not that
Okay,
is not
so
true.
when did you ask to use the truck?
So in January, when I was getting the truck fixed, they told me $4,000. But as the mechanic kept calling me, adding on stuff, I said, hey, I'm not about to pay all this money, and y'all telling me I can just use it. If I'm about to put all my money into it, I want the truck. And my mom was like, okay, you can do that, because in January, they didn't make any money.
Just a second. So what you're telling me is what you said to your mother, I'm not going to put in all this money unless the truck belongs to me.
Correct.
Well, that's not unreasonable, Mr. Shaw. I can actually see that. You're spending $10,000 of your money and you want to be able to use the truck. And you want it to be able to not have it on a whim of somebody else.
Yes, ma'am.
How old is this truck?
This truck is exactly 22 years old.
How long have you owned it?
I've owned it since I was 23 years old.
Okay, so you've owned it since it was new.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you make a living from it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Good. Do you have other trucks now?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How many others?
Just one other. I'm not no big scale company. I just got one other truck. Yes, ma'am.
Can I see the title to the truck, please?
To the truck we're talking about?
Yes.
I don't have that title with me.
Why not?
I was Under the impression that I didn't need to bring it.
Okay. And according to you, the truck's not on the road now?
No, ma'am, it's not on the road.
Do you remember having a conversation with your son about, I'm not going to spend all this money unless the truck is mine?
Yes, ma'am, I do remember that conversation.
Do you remember where it took place?
He was driving and I was at home.
So it was over the phone?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember what month that was?
January.
January of 2022.
Correct.
Tell me what you said to him and what he said to you.
I told him, I totally understand what you're saying. I said, let me talk to your daddy, and we'll see what we could do, but...
Great. As a parent, that sounds perfectly reasonable. And did you speak to your husband?
Yes, I did.
Did the two of you own the truck?
He owns the truck. It's in his name and Nathan's name.
So you said, okay, that sounds okay, let me talk to your daddy. You have to talk to the owner of the truck, because
Correct.
now you're seeking to change the agreement. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And after you spoke to your mother, did you have a conversation with your father about the ownership of the truck?
Yes, we did.
And tell me when that was and what was discussed.
It was in January as well, and when I told him that, he said he totally agreed with me that if I put in majority of the money, that I can have the truck.
Okay. I want to tell you, certain things sort of ring true to me. If I were a young person and spending all my money for a business, because this is the business that he was going to be in, he was going to hire a driver and he was going to take a certain amount of the profits, I could understand him saying to his parents, who now have a truck that they're not using because it's not on the road, I'm going to spend all my savings, it looks like, because the initial estimate was $4,000, but it kept going up and up and up and up and up. So if I'm going to spend all this, put your hand down, if I'm going to spend all this money, I'd like to own the truck. And in response to that, his mother said, and acknowledges that she said, that sounds right to me, I'm going to speak to your father. And according to you, you spoke to your father, and your father said, sounds okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So you went ahead and spent the money.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Put your hand down. This
Your
is
Honor,
not
I don't
a.
understand
This is not.
Your Honor.
$1,000
I done made over $1
to
million
fix your
with the
truck.
truck.
That's ridiculous.
I want you to stop it.
Say, man. Hey, man.
Okay.
How can you tell me
Now,
to stop
are
on
we
something
going-
I worked blood, sweat, and tears on? He finna take.
Levi Shaw says his parents, Davery and Nathan Celestine, owe for the costs of repairs to an 18-wheeler truck. Levi's parents say he never used the truck, and it is still not fixed.
I'd like to see the bills for the truck.
Oh, I have it on my phone.
Well, what is that?
These was the bank statements because at first they was countersuing for insurance as well. So I was showing bank statements where I had sent them money. So
No, I
that's
don't-
what these was
Yeah.
for. But I have it on my phone, but I don't have it in the statements.
Well, I need it.
Here you go.
Is that the one final invoice?
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to see it.
And it also I have at the bottom where it says it needs the ABS
Just hold it up.
module.
Your Honor, can I see that as well?
Yes. Well, so the entire amount is $13,000.
$13,000 and some change.
And your father paid $3,000.
Yes, ma'am.
This is not the correct invoice.
What?
I
got
have
the
the
original.
original invoice.
Oh, fine, I'll take a look
This
at yours.
the invoice that was sent to me via, so by their email, which I could pull up their email as well.
And it shows that it's paid on the back.
Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
It's the same thing as he showed me.
But it has our name on it.
Who cares?
The ones that he showed you, it changed since then.
Well, but let me ask you a question.
No.
Unless I'm missing something,
No.
you're not questioning the fact that he paid $10,000 to fix the truck out of the $13,000 that the truck was. Are you questioning that?
No, I'm not
Okay,
questioning that.
then I don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Let's go over this one more time. When your son said to you, you know, if I'm going to spend all this money, I want to own the truck, and your wife had the same conversation with you, right? She said, I got a call from Levi. Levi said if he's going to spend all this money, he really wants the truck, and she actually thought it was okay. And what did you say, sir?
I said that I'm not going to sell you the truck.
Why?
I will let you use the truck.
No, when did you say that?
Because I have other children.
Oh, no, but
And-
your other children didn't put any money into the truck.
No, I know.
No,
what
just a
you're saying.
second. Your other children didn't put
I
any
know what
money
you're
into
saying,
the truck.
but there's like-
Hand down.
He didn't ask me to buy the truck.
Okay.
Your Honor. He asked, could he use it?
Just a second.
He was going to sell it to my uncle because when the repairs got done, they actually didn't have enough money because I had $8,000 saved up. They took $4,000 of my $8,000.
That you got paid back.
Yes, but they didn't have the money, so when you just
Mr. Shaw, I don't expect you to talk to each other. I don't expect you to talk to him.
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
Very easy. I believe that you changed the contract with your son from a contract where he would pay for the repairs, which was supposed to be $4,000, and then you have the use of the truck, to the fact that he was going to spend $10,000, which was all of his money. Put your hand down. I'm not... This 22-year-old truck that you've had since it was new was going to be his. And I am going to craft an order to the Department of Motor Vehicles to reissue a title in the truck to him. Do you understand? He's going to take that order. He's going to get a new registration for the car and a new ownership. Unless you want, put your hand down. This is not a. This is not. It's not.
I don't understand that.
Well,
I got other children. I got 5 other kids.
Do you want me to say it's slower?
Your Honor.
And I say, what about the $3,500 that we put into it?
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
But it wasn't $4,500, it was $3,500.
35. I'm sorry if you didn't hear me well.
Man.
You are absolutely entitled to that. I believe you are entitled to that. He put in 10, that's his truck.
Your Honor, I worked all my life with that truck.
I don't care.
I worked all my...
I don't care. He's not going to spend his $10,000
I done made over $1 million with the truck.
That's ridiculous.
I want you to stop it.
Say, man. Hey, man. How can you tell me to stop on something I worked blood, sweat, and tears on? He finna take.
I need a break.
That's the judgment. I'm not entertaining your counterclaim. That's the judgment of the court. You get title to the truck. You can retrieve it as soon as you change the registration of the truck. However, in order to do that, you have to give your parents the $3,500 that they put into the truck. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor,
Good.
what about
We're
this
done.
dog?
We're done.
This court is adjourned.
We're done.
We paying for this dog.
We're done.
It's over.
Okay.
We paying for this dog, and he's not giving us nothing.
Let me explain something to you. The reason that I'm not hearing your counterclaim is because the two of you were disrespectful and didn't listen to me. Oh, yes, you did. That's it. We're done.
All right. My actions of my response to what she was saying wasn't nothing being disrespectful towards her.
I'm very glad she ruled in my favor.
It was the initial, the thought of giving up my hard-earned possessions.
It was because I did try to work it out before we came to court, and they was like, no, we're not going to pay you nothing.
I never would have thought in a million years to sue my parents, even though my parents whooped my butt. But that was just something you had to go through back then.
It saddens me. I'm in disbelief that my parents did that to me. I didn't think that they would do that.
I'm not sure. I don't know his plans. I can't talk that.
If you do business with family, make sure you get contracts.
I sympathize with the plaintiff's position on this because modifications of contracts are supposed to be allowed when there's a change in circumstance. So it's not like he was attempting to change the contract every Friday or for no reason. He thought that it was going to be $4,000. It turned out to be $10,000 to fix the truck. And as such, he wanted a bargain for exchange. That's a lot more money than he initially intended. So that conversation makes sense to me, that conversation between his parents, that I know we had agreed to this, but now with this new information, this is what I'm comfortable with. Is that okay?
I think so. I think that is a common sense interpretation of what happened.
For a truck that cost $60,000 20 years ago, to put in $10,000 to it is not nothing. That's a big investment.
Well, it probably isn't worth more than that. And the condition that it was in before he had it repaired, their position was unreasonable because now they have a fixed truck
that their child paid for. And with the animus between them, it doesn't seem to me as if he's going to get any benefit from the bargain. So the modification of their original oral contract, which I think happens occasionally when circumstances change, as long as both parties agree. And I actually think that both the mother and the father said okay, and then something happened that I don't know about. Don't want to know about.
And I don't want to know about it. But I think it's fair that he had possession of the truck since he paid the majority of it.
Các bạn ơi, hôm nay thì mình sẽ cùng với các bạn tô màu cho bức tranh về một cái gương mặt của bạn khỉ và xung quanh có những trái chuối nha. Giờ chúng ta sẽ tô màu nha. Sabihin ako tiyo. Xin chào mọi người, hôm nay thì mọi người cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh này nha. Đây, đây chính là bức tranh mà ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ tô màu. trời cứ ra phong nào rồi cũng hay mưa rơi vào hay là tiếc là rơi đâu nhé sao giờ rất là lạnh. Con nói nhá, đắng. Bây giờ chúng ta sẽ tô màu nha. Mưa rơi vào hay là tiếc ngàn đơn rơi. Em mình cũng không ăn được. Anh nhớ nhé, nhắm mắt xoay. Ta, ta, ta. Ta rời xa. Biết tới đây này thôi. nay thì mình sẽ cùng với các bạn tiếp tục tô màu và bức tranh về một chủ nhện. Hãy cùng mình đón xem bức tranh ở phía sau nhé. Chính xác là 7, có mấy cái. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho bạn nhện nha. Đẹp như sen luôn. Cho suy nghĩ anh được không? Để không phải suy nghĩ. Nó buông lời của xuống tay đói. Nó tay đến được rồi. Xin chào mọi người. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ cùng với các bạn tô màu cho những bông hoa như thế này. Một cái giỏ hoa nhé. Rất là xinh. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ tô màu nha. Bụng đặt cho anh nghe đi. Hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ tiếp tục tô màu và đây chính là bức tranh của ngày hôm nay, một chiếc váy với những cái họa tiết hoa khá là độc đáo. Bây giờ thì chúng ta sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh nha. Xin chào các bạn, hôm nay thì mình sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh về một bàn tay và ngôi chùa bướm đang đậu lên. Và các bạn hãy cùng mình đón xem bức tranh của ngày hôm nay nhé. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh nha. hôm nay thì hãy cùng mình đồng hành tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô nàng với cái stylist khá là thời trang.
Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho bức tranh nha các bạn. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô đến bộ đầu nhé.
Xin chào mọi người, hôm nay thì mọi người cùng mình tô màu cho bức tranh về một cô gái đang ôm một bó hoa với cái nụ cười rất là hạnh phúc nhé. Và chúng ta sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh.
Không mấy chút xíu nữa cho tôi selfie với nhạc sĩ Tống được không?
Dạ vâng. Dạ vâng.
Oh yeah.
Ok.
Tôi thích cái giọng này, cái giọng mà lớn lớn cái tiếng gì nghe nó dễ thương lắm kìa.
Chuẩn bị sẽ tô màu cho mái tóc trước nha. hôm nay thì các bạn sẽ cùng với mình tô màu cho bức tranh này nha. Đây là nhân vật Nene. Các bạn hãy cùng mình tô màu nhá. Cái tay nó. Chơi đi, gấu bông nói. Mày đưa cho nó con ong ấy, kiểu gì nó béo mũi luôn. Đấy, con ong nó bị úp mồm. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô màu cho mái tóc đi các bạn. Mày mà véo mũi người ta bắt đền ấy. Rồi sẽ có một ngày nó sẽ bật cái mũi ra để xem. Ngó ở đây. Suốt ngày là vớ bút màu của tao. Tóc mình sẽ tô màu nâu nha. Đấy, bỏ. Thôi để chơi đi con. Để chơi đi. Chưa được thao hồ mà ăn vịt nha.
Chưa?
Để vịt cho được rồi. Tại vì chưa có đúng món vịt với cả trứng luộc thôi. Mày bắt buộc phải cho một trong hai để ăn. Ngoài ra thì có thêm món cá khô rang nữa. Nếu mày muốn ăn. Xỉu dãi kìa. Xỉu dãi kìa em ơi. Xỉu dãi kìa. Sao mày nói chân của tao mày lau mồm quá nào.
Sạch chưa?
Tí thôi, mùi khôi ở đây nha. Khôi ơi. Khôi. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc áo nha. Thì anh nơi đâu? Đợi gì tí xong rồi dì bê xuống. Hả? Bài tập toán á? Chiều tiếng Anh này là bài tập toán, làm đi.
Đúng rồi. Mày biết năm nay giáo dục địa phương về giáo dục công dân có 25 câu.
Ít thế á? Giáo dục địa phương là cái môn gì mà mày thi vậy?
Giáo dục địa phương là cái môn mà phải học lịch sử, Hà Nội các thứ đấy, kiểu học Thăng Long nó như kiểu học lịch sử ấy. Nhưng nó khác, nó học về Hà Nội thôi.
Nên chàng, chiếc váy mình sẽ tô màu hồng đậm hơn nha.
Chẳng nhớ học môn tí làm cái gì nữa nhé.
Cho vui.
Chị ơi.
Gì?
Đúng rồi.
Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho phần da nha. Đừng nữa hả? Đây nó không cho đội cơ, nó toàn sượt thôi.
Để cho đeo vào cổ. Nhanh thì chẳng hiểu tại sao. Của cậu mà. Em lại xỉu dãi rồi.
Biết còn tranh không nhỉ?
Phơi ơi, qua đây Phơi, lau dãi này.
Cuối cùng là mình sẽ tô màu cho đôi giày. Không biết không chút còn tranh không nhỉ? Hay hết rồi nhỉ? Hay còn.
Xỉu dãi ra đường đi Phơi.
No. Giường sinh hoa yêu của tao.
Để nó xuống nhanh còn kịp.
Đức dùng mà để tao không tắt.
Quê ơi. Ê trời thằng bị tất.
Nó gặn đấy, nó hay gặp móng chân lắm.
Quê ơi.
Bức tranh về cô bé Nene đã được mình tô màu xong và đây chỉ là thành quả nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình theo dõi. Video này của mình xin được kết thúc nhé. Bye bye mọi người. Hello mọi người nha, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì mình sẽ cùng với mọi người
tô màu cho bức tranh về cái bụi cây này. Bụi cây có rất là nhiều các loại hoa. Chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh nhé. Trước tiên là mình sẽ tô màu cho một chú bướm bướm ở phía trên. Không phải tính lộn nha. 9 với bà bè 3 đi 22 50 rồi ông. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho các loại hoa nha. Đầu tiên là có mấy bông hoa giống nhau thì mình sẽ tô trước nhé. Và mình sẽ tô màu cho 2 bông hoa thôi còn lại. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô màu cho mấy cái bụi cây nha. Hôm nay thì chúng mình đã cùng nhau tô màu xong cho bức tranh và đây chỉ là bức tranh mà mình đã tô được nha. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Video của mình đây là kết thúc nhé. Các bạn ơi, hôm nay thì các bạn sẽ cùng mình tô màu cho Bức tranh về em voi này nha. Bây giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho bạn voi. Trước nhà bạn voi đang chơi với quả bóng. Đỏ mắt đi. Vâng, mình sẽ tô màu xám nha. Tiếp đến mình sẽ tô màu cho quả bóng và những đám mây ở phía trên nha. Đương nhiên là nó sẽ có lẻ rồi, nhưng mà ý là trời trước nhiều mà, chắc 3 tháng thôi. Giờ thì mình sẽ tô màu cho những cái bụi cây nha. Như vậy là mình cũng đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh rồi. Đây chính là thành quả mà chúng ta đã cùng nhau tô màu. Cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình xem video. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn. Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã cùng với mình quay trở lại với series tô màu tranh. Hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng với nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về bạn vẹt này nha. Chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu nhé. It's okay. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô chiếc mỏ cho em vẹn nhé. Chill. Chill. Tiếp theo là mình sẽ tô màu cho phần thân của bạn vẹt nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô đến phần cánh và đuôi nha. Tiếp đến thì mình sẽ tô màu cho cái cành cây nhé. Mọi người ơi, mình đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh rồi nha. Đây chính là thành quả của mình. Cảm ơn các bạn đã cùng mình theo dõi. Xin chào và hẹn gặp lại các bạn nhé. Bye bye. Hello mọi người, chào mừng mọi người đã đến với kênh của mình. Hôm nay thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu cho bức tranh về một con áo rất là xinh đẹp nha. Bây giờ thì chúng mình sẽ cùng nhau tô màu nhé. Đầu tiên là mình sẽ tô phần mái tóc trước. mình hết đuổi rồi. Đi mình hết đuổi rồi. Sao chứ? Tiếp đến là mình sẽ tô màu cho chiếc váy nha. Bây giờ mình sẽ tô phần cầu thang nha. Hôm nay thì chúng mình cũng đã hoàn thiện xong cho bức tranh và đây chỉ là thành quả của mình nha. Cảm ơn mọi người đã cùng mình đón xem và theo dõi video nhé. Bye bye mọi người.